amended to take that language out, and California is moving forward regardless. But I will clarify that when the ACA comes over and ask a question of the author on that. On this particular bill, AB 604, I do have a quick question of the author if she would be willing to take it.
Will the author take a question?
Are you familiar with, or can you cite for us any lawsuit in California of somebody suing the Redistricting Commission for the lines that they drew either in 2012 or 2022, arguing that those lines were unconstitutional?
You may proceed.
I am not personally familiar with any lawsuits.
Great, thank you. Neither am I. And that's because our process isn't unconstitutional. Now, many of us had problems with the lines with 2022 when they came out. Both Democrats and Republicans got a little gripey about some of the lines. Legitimately, I believe so. But we didn't sue. We kind of, went with it and made the best of it that we could. One of the things I want to share this morning is I'm very proud of my Republican colleagues for their demeanor this morning and their professionalism in their comments, regardless of the incendiary and accusational comments of the open on this bill, AB 604. And I will share that compliment with my Democrat colleagues as well. I think that the debate has been very professional and moving us along. One of the things I'm very concerned about in the debate this morning that I want to raise attention to is some terms that were used this morning on the floor. Rigged, dictator, unchecked power, period, full stop. That one cracks me up when you all use that one, because I know the governor uses that all the time. So I don't know if you're trying to get in his good graces by imitating him or whatever, but period, full stop. There's usually a lie behind that, by the way. Bully, autocrats. Permission to read, Madam President.
Without seeing any objection, it is granted.
While this was all going on, a term came to mind, projecting or projection. So I looked it up to make sure that I had it right. Projecting refers to a psychological defense mechanism where an individual unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable feelings, thoughts, or traits to another person. Why did this come up in my mind today as you've been standing on this floor railing against Republicans in Texas, railing against Republicans in Washington, D.C. for not having any courage to stand up to the dictators of the governor of Texas and the president of the United States? Where's the courage for the Republicans? Let me ask you this. Every single year, we pass off this floor and the assembly floor a handful of bills that pass on unanimous votes. Unanimous. Every Republican, every Democrat votes for these bills. Some of these bills are authored by Democrats, and some of these bills are authored by Republicans. One bill in particular comes to mind. It's a very simple bill, authored by the incoming pro tem. She's attempted to pass this bill, has passed the bill 4 times, and has been vetoed 4 times. Where's the courage when a bill has unanimous votes to conduct a veto override? You don't even need us for a veto override. You can do it by yourselves. But we've come to you over and over and over and over every single year. We will support you in a veto override. We will help you in a veto override. On a simple bill. Just pick the simplest one. Let's just do it. And prove that you have the courage that you're accusing us of not having. I will share with you, there are examples of Republicans in supermajority Republican states of doing that exact same thing on a Republican governor. I encourage you to have that courage.
Point of order, Madam President. This dialogue has nothing to do with what's before us here, and I'd ask you to rule in that way and ask the Speaker to to stick to the matter that's on the floor before us. Thank you.
Point is well taken. If Senator Jones could please stick to the merits of the bill before us.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate our colleagues standing up and recognizing that my comments might be incendiary and accusational, similar to the opening remarks of the author. The important thing that I think is to share here is I rise in strong opposition to AB 604. The gaslighting that has been, or gavlighting, if you prefer that term better, that's been going on this morning is just the mental gymnastics that you have to do to come up with these arguments that you're making for what we're trying to do here on the floor in the state of California is just amazing to me how you do that. And I want to share, and again, other senators have said, I appreciate every single one of you. I count every single senator on this floor a friend, all 30 Democrats. I honor you, I admire you. This is not an easy job. But sometimes we have to call it like it is. We have to call balls and strikes, according to the gamesmanship analogies that were used earlier. What's happening here is simple. Gavin Newsom and Democrat politicians are trying to ram through a corrupt redistricting scheme to rig California's elections. This scheme is unconstitutional. It's undermining both the letter and the spirit of the California Constitution. It ignores the principles of germane law, election integrity, twisting the rules to benefit one party. It tramples on the will of California voters. California voters, the same people that elected all of us to office. Those voters created an independent redistricting commission precisely to keep politicians from drawing their own lines. And those voters, it was so important to them, they put it in the Constitution. This effort slices up communities, connecting desperate areas and splitting apart regions with common interests, violating the very standard the redistricting is supposed to uphold. Democrats are rushing this through under the guise of urgency. There's no emergency that justifies this abuse of process. It discards years of work by the Citizens Redistricting Commission and replaces it with raw partisan power plays. Importantly, Democrat legislators continue to refuse to answer the one simple question that's been asked dozens, if not hundreds of times, and I'll ask one more time on this floor. Who drew the maps? They claim it's a transparent process, yet fail to answer the most transparent question. And it comes at an outrageous cost, has been mentioned, more than $250 million for a special election at a time when California is facing a $20 billion deficit and you all are cutting vital services. The result is the maps that destroy representative proportionality are rigged for partisan gain, not fair representation. Senate Republicans are united against this abuse of power. We're standing together to defend Californians, to uphold our Constitution, the California Constitution, and to fight for fair and honest elections. And let's make two more points before I close. The interesting thing is you all keep bringing up Texas. Texas right now, the Republicans in Texas right now have an effort afoot to make it easier for the legislature to override, do a veto override in Texas. Republicans are trying to make it easier in Texas to conduct a veto override. I'm asking you just to try. Now, the other interesting thing about this effort is we all know this is going to fail on the ballot. This is a loser from the beginning. So what's the win? What's the upside for all of us here on the Senate floor to go blindly along with the governor's plan here? It's going to fail. And what's the only gain? I'll tell you what the only gain is. Governor Gavin Newsom is getting more headlines. He's getting more name ID, and he's creating a brand across the country so that he can run for president, and you're helping him. To my colleagues across the aisle, I strongly encourage you to stand against this self-serving governor with courage rather than acting like a march of the lemmings. I urge a no vote on AB 604.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion or debate, Senator Gonzalez, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you so much, Madam President. And I do want to say to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, thank you so much for this very robust debate. This is exactly what democracy means and what we want the public to see, the discourse. Even if we agree to disagree or we disagree and disagree beyond measure, that is exactly what we're here for. We were all elected to take an oath to defend our democracy and to ensure that the folks that we support and represent all can see a better quality of life. And that's why we're here today. And as my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, except for one, I think you have one missing member from Jackson, you know, what I will say is I hear you on integrity. I hear you on transparency. I hear you on all of that. And this is where I'm really confused because, with all due respect, it is very hypocritical to say that you believe in all this, but yet when you've been offered the opportunity to talk about what is the egregious actions by this federal government, the egregious actions by Texas legislators to disenfranchise voters, to additionally split counties and cities, to continue to violate the Voting Rights Act, to just completely ignore communities of interest, and to continue to safeguard the Trump presidency, because guess what? It doesn't just stop after 2028. Let's be real here. He wants a third term. So what does that mean for Californians if we don't do this? Well, I'll tell you what it means. It means that, again, it means that there's going to be unconcern for a ransom of $1 billion to our UC system. There's going to be silence when it comes to SNAP benefits for children who are disabled. It means there's going to be additional unconcern for the kids that won't have after-school programs and school lunches. And it means that every budget that we put out here, because we've continued to put state budgets out here, and everyone's talking about wildfires. If we're so concerned about wildfires, why didn't the other party, why didn't you all support the wildfire package relief of $2.5 billion for Altadena and Pacific Palisades residents? Why didn't you do that? So we can't sit here and talk about transparency and integrity and we want democracy, and all of a sudden now we have an epiphany about an independent redistricting commission and we're going to stand, you know, strong for that. Well, let's do that today. And today, again, AB 604 is an urgency measure, contains the new proposed congressional maps that will ultimately be the decision of California voters on November 4th. This bill will be in print for over 70 days. The maps will be available for insight from our voters, and ultimately they will have the say, and would remain in effect only until the Citizens Redistricting Commission certifies a new map of congressional districts after 2030's census maps. So these maps are temporary, again, for the elections of 2026, 2028, and 2030. Then the Redistricting Commission, which is still in effect, will then take will then take the helm in 2032 to continue the good work that they've done. Again, the hypocrisy remains. Why are you so unconcerned? Why are you so unwilling? Why have you remained silent during this egregious overreach when Latino communities across California have been kidnapped? Why? All our democracy is being dismantled, and you want us as California legislators to just sit by on the sidelines and do absolutely nothing? Well, that's not good enough. And if you want to support my Republican minority leader, if you'd like to support a diversity, equity, and inclusion bill by the incoming pro tem, we are happy to provide that opportunity for you to do that again. So again, Californians will have the final say. I appreciate all the debate here. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Alvarado Gil. Archuleta. Aye. Adeguin. Aye. Ashby. Aye. Becker. Aye. Blakespear. Aye. Cabaldon. Aye. Caballero. Aye. Cervantes. Aye. Choi. No. Cortezi. Aye. Daly. No. Durazo. Aye. Gonzalez. Aye. Grayson. Aye. Grove. No. Hurtado. Aye. Jones. Laird. Aye. Limon. Aye. McGuire. Aye. McNerney. Aye. Menjivar. Aye. Nilo. No. Ochoa Bog. No. Padilla. Aye. Perez. Aye. Reyes. Aye. Richardson. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Ciarto. No. Smallwood Cuevas. Aye. Stern. Aye. Strickland. No. Umberg. Aye. Valadares. No. Wahab. Aye. Weber Pearson. Aye. Weiner. Aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Alvarado Gil. Jones. No.
Ayes 30, noes 9. That measure passes. Members, we are now going to take a very brief 20-minute recess for lunch. Stay in the building. We will come back in 20 minutes. We are now on recess.